All right, hi, I'm Grant. I'm her son. So you guys might know a little bit about me already, but I'm not going to go into it. So first off, I'd like to say that this morning I woke up at 6:30, and I get on Rainbow Six Siege like usual. And I'm playing with this Australian guy. I start ranting about how stressed I am because of this public speaking event I have. And he goes to me, right, mate, so what you got to do is you got to imagine the entire audience is naked. Now, I have no idea if that works. Partly because I get old giggling around that kind of stuff, but also because my family is in my direct line of sight, and something about that seems very wrong. But sadly, back to the topic. I'm not here to talk to you guys about my video game habits. But so as my mom told you guys about, the 7 generations principle entails that 7 generations of decisions have led to our lives now. That means 7 generations of bad choices have led to my family living behind a faux shroud of well-being while suffering in silence. Luckily enough, my mom and I broke that chain of bad choices. We're a giant sledgehammer that came down and shattered it to pieces. That's why she's my brave. Now, before my diagnosis, I felt broken. And I don't know how to put this into words, but being a 6-year-old and feeling so awful about yourself and so awful inside of you, it's an awful feeling. And the only way I can put it into words is anyone who's done jigsaw puzzles, you have that like 10,000 piece puzzle. You get down to everything being there, but you're missing like 12 pieces. And how big of a pain in the butt that is. Now, that's what I felt like as a little kid, and that's the only way I could imagine it in my mind. Now, I lost my birth father whenever I was 6 years old. And I remember that being the first experience and first memory I have of mental health and how bad mental health affected me. Now, after his death, I went into a very big depression. Losing somebody is awful, but losing a parent when you're that young is the worst thing imaginable. And after that, I remember the sporadic memories of fights with my parents and not being able to control my basic emotions. And that's pretty awful. I mean, being that young and being angry all the time, I mean, it's like being a moody teenager, but you're only 6 years old. I mean, that's no fun. But everything changed, and my life I took a step down the right road when we moved to North Carolina. And I met an amazing guy who changed my life forever. And unfortunately, I can't tell you guys his name, but he's pretty cool. And he told me that I have Asperger's syndrome, plain as day. And that changed my life. Because of that, I was able to get on the right medication. And because of that, everything in my life turned around. I discovered I had all of these gifts, and I had everything I needed for a great life, the main of which is writing. And before that, I had no idea that I had anything going for me. All I knew was that, dang, I fight with my parents a ton. I argue a ton, and I felt awful about myself. But because of that diagnosis, I felt amazing. Everything in my life took a turn down the right road. And from that point, I mean, I was a published author by the age of 13. I won 3 international writing competitions, and I attribute all of that to this diagnosis. And so I hope that what you guys take away from this is that mental health, it doesn't matter. Your diagnosis, it doesn't matter, because it's what makes you special. It's what makes you, you. And we shouldn't be scared or afraid of telling people about this, because you should be proud of who you are. That's it. Thank you.